Welcome everyone. Okay. So this is GS. What is the plan? In 25 classes, right? In 25 classes, we will finish your both pre come mains GS economy. Okay. This is the plan. In 25 classes, we will do that. Fine. Now, see, what is the idea? In paper 3, let's say you have gone through the syllabus. You guys first, let me first, just read a few points of syllabus. You've gone through the syllabus? Okay. For what they talk about? First they talk about the economic development, right? What is the topic? Economic development issues related to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and employment, right? So, एक आपका इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट आ जाता है, इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट. फिर आपकी बात होती है इसमें गवर्नमेंट बजटिंग की, लैंड रिफॉर्म्स की, गवर्नमेंट बजटिंग, देन लैंड रिफॉर्म्स, ठीक है. उसके बाद आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट मॉडल, लिबरलाइजेशन एंड एग्रीकल्चर, लिबरलाइजेशन then investment model and agriculture, PDS, right? Food processing है, food processing, e-technology in food processing, e-technology in the aid of farmers. Okay, these are your major topics. Fine. Now, see. Now, let's say somebody says, okay, economic development is there, government budgeting. How you will get the sense of the question? You will get the sense from PYQs, right? Once you go through PYQs, both prelims and pre and main, that will give you understanding what kind of question UPSC is asking. So you have to link both syllabus topics and questions, right? Now, one more thing. Let's say, see. One thing you have to understand, which is very, very important in UPSC preparation, the quantum of labor you have to do, the amount of work you have to do. Let's say whatever your background or whatever it is, you just always remember this thing. You have that A4 sheet, right? One A4 sheet is there. Depending upon your font size, on one side you can write around 200 to 250 words. On the both side you will write approximately how many words? 500 words, right? So if you can write around 10 lakh words, 10 lakh words on economy, GS economy. When I say 10 lakh words, this will include everything: your notes making, your PYQ task series, everything, revision. This much quantum of work one has to do. If you are, you are able to do that. Nowadays, last 2 years they are not, giving some good marks in economy, but yes, I believe around 110 marks is possible in maths, right? But see, there is no shortcut. This much quantum of work one has to do. Okay, now try to imagine how much this is. Let's say on one A4 sheet, how many words? 500 words. In one A4 rim, how many sheets are there? 500, right? So 500 into 500. That comes to your 2,50,000 words, right? Yes. So you have to fill 4 rims. One is to fill 4 rims for GS economy only. Got it? See, this is the crux. If you will, if you will keep on reminding yourself that I have to write how many rims? 4 rims on GS economy only. That will include your notes making, whatever we will tell in class, noting that down. Okay. So all that thing has to happen. कोई shortcut नहीं है. इतना काम करना है. Let's say somebody says I'm very, very intelligent, so he might read, read that position at, let's say, 8 lakh words, right? Let's say somebody is not very, slightly not very sharp, so they might read that estimation at 12 lakh word. But within 8 lakhs to 10 lakh word, all aspirant will, this is the quantum of work. So I've given the, middle range as well. This is the mean range, 10 lakh. This is high range, this is low range. Remember this thing, okay? Whenever you are preparing, within this range, I have to work. Fine? Syllabus point is clear? Okay? Economy, agriculture, food processing. Now, one thing you have to understand. Let's say what book to read. See, one has to read book. But most important question is how to read it. Yes. Okay, that is more important, right? Let's say how to read it, that is more important. So, but to give you the big picture, let's say one has to invest their time. This I am calling 80% time, and this I am calling 20% time. Okay? If your 80% time is going into writing PYQs, right? Practicing PYQs, test series, good test series, right? Where you can get good feedback. Economic surveys. At least last 3 years, let's say you're preparing 2023, last 1 year or next 2 years, this much coverage should be there, right? Last 2 years and, okay. Then your SDR reports, human development reports, as per the syllabus. Niti Aayog, important report, right? Your NCERT is always there, economic development and macroeconomic. आपका 80% time इसमें जाना है, okay? Only I will say I will keep it in fact 85%. Only 15% time should go into newspaper reading. Okay, newspaper reading, or maybe reading article here and there. Okay, let's say reading some current affair magazine. Okay, current affair. You have to understand one is going to get marks in UPSC for this thing, right? From PYQs. So till you do not practice well PYQs, how it is going to happen? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So you will remember this thing, right? This big picture. Now this is fine. Now you understood the quantum of work, you have understood the syllabus, you understood where you are going to invest your time. Okay. Now coming to our course, we are having 25 lectures. Okay, full GS economy, full course. How it is divided? First, although today we are going to discuss economic survey, but we will start with the basics. First, we will discuss the basic concepts of economy. Right? This basic concept is mainly your macroeconomic. Micro is not it, right? Macroeconomic. Macro. Right? In this, we will talk about money, interest rate, inflation, banking, public debt. Okay, public debt, public finance. Okay, concept like this, where you find question in prelims as well. Okay, question from this. Then we will move into syllabus wise. Let's say economic development is the first your topic of a syllabus, right? Then investment model is there. Okay, then agriculture is there. PDS is there. Food processing is there. Okay, so this thing will be divided. This will take around your 18 classes. Okay, remaining classes will go into some in economic survey, human development reports, right? Not all necessary report as per the syllabus. Human development reports, then economic survey, human Niti reports, and some IMF reports. IMF reports we will read. Let's say World Economic Outlook is there, right? That report one has to invest time. World Economic Outlook, Financial Stability Report. Okay, so and SDG report, right? SDGs. So this is the way, and this will take around, let's say, 5 classes, and a few classes will also devoted to PYQ. Discussion will happen as we will keep on taking classes. Okay, PYQs plus answer writing. Okay, answer writing. Got the structure of the class? How it is going to proceed? Right? Fine. Now, coming to the, let's say, the way we are going to continue. One thing is, we will expect, you will go through the basic NCERTs. Okay? Although I will discuss the concept, but it is expected that you go through NCERT. See, one thing you have to understand about NCERT. Who writes NCERT? Best professor of this country, right? And it is not a single man work, it's a collective work. Each paragraph is revised many, many times. Can you see the language, it flows? Yes. So, when you read human development reports, the same writing style you find in NCERT. So the professor, the policy maker or professor who are writing human development reports, the same, almost same level, right? These people. But these books are for 10th, 11th, 12th. But again, you have to understand, they have put their thought in those 11th, 12th class book only. See, the professor who has put, his thought in that. So the way he is speaking, the way he is writing, you will get the best content and the way thought should flow. So it is very important to revisit NCERTs. So, there is no, NCERT should not be read once, it should be read again and again. One more thing. What, let's say, somebody wants to have an indicator, how much my, let's say, syllabus note should look like. Always remember, your optional notes has to come into 300 pages. This is an indication, right? It will not happen in first time. When you write and it has to come in 300 pages. And your full GS notes has to come around 700 pages. Both static and current part, around 700, 800 pages. Out of those, around your 300 pages should be devoted to, GS3 paper, and economy only. Economy around you should have 180 to 180, 190 pages. Not hard and fast, but this is an, these are an indicator. Till one has not done this work, it's very difficult to score, right? So let's say somebody is getting optional marks in, optional notes in 300 pages, economy notes in 189, concise notes, not, very concise notes, so that nobody can understand other than you. So these are an indicators. When you read NCERT reports or SDR reports, what you have to do, you have to lift paragraphs. Now, there is a difference between copying and lifting paragraphs. I will use this word again and again. Lifting paragraphs. Lifting paragraph. This is a very important ability. Why I say so? Let's say when you read economic survey, have you seen, they quote something, right? For example, let's see. This economic survey, just a minute. This chapter 6 is Social Infrastructure and Employment Big Tent. This is chapter 6 of Economic Survey 2023. Now he narrates a story, okay? The writer narrates a story, and he was talking about SDGs, and while talking about SDGs, he just quoted one paragraph, okay? What he's saying, let me, just, the point I'm trying to, he's writing about SDG. What he wrote, India has adopted the UN SDG 2030, 2030, which are a set of comprehensive, far-reaching and people-centric, universal and transformative goals. Okay, this is the way. Let's say this is the way aspirants are writing in mains. Then he quotes the, what is written in the SDG definition, SDG report. We resolve between now and 2030 to end poverty and hunger everywhere, to combat inequalities and so, like that. So you have to understand why it is happening naturally with this writer. See, more or less he himself was he himself is an administrator or chief economic advisor, right? Yes, So he's not copying. You have to understand, he's not copying. He's lifting that paragraph. And that ability comes naturally. So why I'm focusing on this, when we will discuss NCRTs or different reports, so I will lift paragraph. See, for you lifting paragraph, it will take a few times, right? Maybe to a few years. I will lift paragraph from different reports. You have to put it in your notes. And when you revise it 3-4 times and you write, think on that paragraph, it get internalized. So that is no more copying, understand? You took something, you took a story from somewhere. You wrote it in your notes, you're revising it 3-4 times, then it becomes your story and which you connect with your other notes. Okay, got it? So this is ability is very, very important. So I'm going to focus on this a lot. I will not focus much on facts. See, facts so, मान लो कुछ फैक्ट्स बताने इंडिया का जीडीपी इतना है, इकोनॉमी इतना है, पॉपुलेशन, वो तो एक शीट दे दो, ओके, वो तो कोई भी कर सकता है, राइट? दैट्स नॉट ए हाई स्किल वर्क. I am going to devote my much time on this thing. See, I tell you, the last economic class we took on, that was on internationalization of rupee. If I can say, I almost read 6 to 7 reports for that. Who in this world will read, for one lecture 6 to 7 report? And but see, when you read those 6-7 reports, you lift the paragraph and give to aspirant. See, I understand that I lifted, but those lifted paragraph, if you put your notes and you revise it 3-4 times, you will see those paragraphs will become your own. Got it? So I have devoted time here. This is going to be my, big process of our lecture delivery. Fine? Fine. Now, okay. One more thing. Let's say, see, one more indicator. It is very easy to score, let's say, 80-90 marks in GS economy. The trouble happens when you take this to score 110 plus, right? Around 100 and 100, इसके बीच में, right? This is the big story. यहाँ तो कोई भी जैसे prelims लिखा है वो कोई भी ले आएगा. How you will do that? There are some indicators. See, the examiner will see your first paragraph and in the first line they will tell whether you are going to qualify this year or not. In the first line. How that happens? Because your writing style, thought process, everything changes. And how that will change? Always keep on reminding those, 4 A4 rim sheet. Okay? उतना वर्क में वो आपकी थॉट प्रोसेस सब कुछ उतना बैठ के लिखना है. एंड हाउ वन हैज टू राइट इन अ 2 सिटिंग ऑफ 3 to 3 आवर. 3 आवर्स की 2 सिटिंग लगनी चाहिए दिन में. ओके, विदाउट एनी डिस्टर्बेंस, you should not move from your study table. Okay, let's say somebody is in the class, that concentration of thought should be there. Fine. So in this hard work, this change will naturally happen, that the examiner will see the first line and they will say whether you are going to score in this range or this range. Okay, it will happen in the first line. When you will lift this paragraph according to the syllabus, you will try to copy them as well. See what happens. Let's say I dictated some concept from a human development report. Okay, and aspirant has noted that down in their notes. Okay, so gradually you have to develop 2 pages on notes. 2 pager, understand? What is the meaning of 2 pager? A4 sheet is there. Let's say there is a topic, let's say PDS. Okay, now how the note things will run. Let's say we delivered some lecture on PDS, public distribution system. Okay, now how you will make the notes? First, let's say you read NCRT. Okay, so there how they define the PDS, you noted that line. Okay, then maybe some other day you read Shanta Kumar committee report. Okay, Shanta Kumar committee report, its recommendation, you noted it down in the report. Then read Justice Wadhwa committee report. Okay, Justice Wadhwa committee report, you noted it down. Okay, then maybe some human development report you read something. Okay, some on public distribution system. Okay, then let's say recently new scheme, OMSS, open market sale scheme. That is not directly related but somehow linked. So this way your 2-pager will evolve. Got it? Gradually on that paper of that sheet of paper should become your part and become your own. And on that PDS, first you will note down the PYQs. जो भी आपके PYQs आए हैं इससे रिलेटेड PDF से, you will see the last year's question paper we will provide, right? कि ये क्वेश्चन आए वो उसमें रहेगा, आपके कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवली जो भी क्लास के नोट्स हैं वो इवॉल्व होगा. सो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इफ समबडी सेज यू हैव टू राइट ए क्वेश्चन आंसर ऑन PDF, यू विल रिफर ओनली दिस थिंग. कोई वेबसाइट कुछ नहीं, आपको इस कंडीशन में होना चाहिए कि आपको, यानी कोई रात को भी उठ के बोले कि ये मुझे अपना 2 पेजर बताओ क्या लिखा है, आप तुरंत वो पॉइंट लिख दो. सी व्हाट हैपेंस इन मेंस, यू कैन नॉट थिंक एंड राइट देयर, टाइम ही नहीं है. वन कैन नॉट थिंक एंड राइट. You can only there jot down whatever you have written in your 2 pager. You can put that data, information or concept as per the need of the question. This much you can do because the pressure is there, right? So story is clear, fine. Yes. So I'm expecting that you will make a PDS as well, right? Let's say today we are discussing social infrastructure. Okay, social infrastructure a big tent. Now let's say you have a 2 pager on infrastructure. Okay, there is physical infrastructure, okay, digital infrastructure and social infrastructure. So this part will become a part of this 2 pager. Fine, any problem? Okay, now I think you got the understanding. Now coming to one more thing, one important thing, that is let's say you are practicing any PYQs or test paper question. Okay, test series question or PYQ. Do not worry about the quality. See, just one cannot write an answer without 2 pager. Till I will refer to this 2 pager means notes on that particular topic. Let's say there is a question on PDS, one cannot write. Otherwise, one will write superficially only. So first one has to work on this 2 pager, and one has to practice PYQs, at least 3 times. See, when you practice PYQ 3 times, that refinement comes. When you practice, see, let's say you tell yourself that I am going to write 2023 भी आ जाएगा, right? ये PYQs मुझे practice करना है. इसमें कुछ स्टैटिक होंगे कुछ, डोंट वरी, ट्राई टू प्रैक्टिस ऑल. व्हेन यू राइट फर्स्ट टाइम, ओके, मे बी इंट्रो इज नॉट गुड, डेटा इज नॉट, डोंट वरी. इन द नेक्स्ट इटरेशन you will see your this thing will keep on, your 2 pager will keep on evolving and this will keep on improving. Fine, okay. So now this is fine. Now we will start with today's उसमें economic survey. You asked the question that economic survey will relevant or not. Yes, sir. See, I told you 80% of time your time has to go into things like economic survey, right? Yes. Okay. Remember one thing. Let's say whichever year you are preparing, right? Let's say this is X year. So you have to have understanding of X-1 or X-2 years economic survey. Economic survey के notes इस तरह बनाओ. Got it? You have to put that thing in. Let's say अभी 2023 वाला है, right? उससे पहले का भी, उससे पहले का भी. इसको पढ़ के उसके note down करो and then you will see. Okay? So and see one more thing. Once you have studied this year's economic survey well, next year का तो आप खुद predict करने लग जाओगे. ऐसा नहीं कि आपको see what happens when let's say you have studied economic survey this year very well. So next year economic survey reading is a very small task. It will happen very quickly. Yes. Okay? Got it? So don't worry about it. Fine? Now we will start with social infrastructure. Okay? Now tell me, what do you understand by infrastructure? Infrastructure?
Sir, anything which adds to the future capacity.
Adds to the future capacity. Okay. Let's say I build a road. Government builds a road. Yes. That is an infrastructure. Governments provide, let's say, banking, bank accounts. That again is an infrastructure. Okay. Government provides health and education facility. That again is an infrastructure. So physical, social, and digital as well. Okay. Now you understand that economy is given by, this is the equation of economy. Y is equal to C plus G plus NX. This is consumption, this is investment, government spending and net export. Investment is very, very important, both public and private. So when the government is investing, okay, so investment in infrastructure as well. Government is spending for, you see, this government spending does not include subsidies. So government is spending, see why this is important. Let's say, I'm not sure whether you have read, okay, what is the main determinant of poverty elevation in India? You say poverty there, right? Your SDG 1 is no poverty, right? And world cannot eliminate poverty till India will not eliminate it, right? So what is the main determinant? You know, yes, how India is eliminating poverty, through what activity?
Employment generation.
No, that's fine, but which employment generation? Which activity?
Sir, manufacturing.
No. Manufacturing में कहाँ jobs है? देखा किसी को देखा? गरीबों को manufacturing में job मिल रही है? सिर्फ we are talking about the elevation of poverty. किसको मिल रहा है? Manufacturing में तो skilled and unskilled को job नहीं है. See, manufacturing is high पे, make in India, उसमें कोई jobs creation नहीं है. Okay, people are still dependent on agriculture or service sector. Manufacturing is almost, see, you have to understand this thing. When you create infrastructure, especially in India, what is happening? Urban growth has become the main determinant of poverty elevation. Economic Survey wrote this statement very, very clearly. So this is the clarity you have to bring in your mains copy. What you have to say? Urban growth is becoming the main determinant of poverty elevation. See what is happening? People are migrating from villages to cities. And why? Because they want employment. And in the city, do you think anyone is going to give them employment? No. Why somebody will give? So, but in city, people need to, India needs more cities. Can you see housing construction? House construction going on, that is the main determinant. See, when you see the house being constructed in cities, see in this locality as well. House हो रहा है, वहाँ पे लोग आ रहे हैं. Who are they? They are Mazdoors, right? Yes. Okay. And they are being lifted out of agriculture poverty. So, that economic survey has to connect with reality, right? Yes. So, and you see that. Do you see any other activity where poor are being involved other than agriculture? See, okay, rickshaw pullers and all those are there, but again, that's so this is, always remember, urban growth is the main factor of, there are other factors as well, but urban growth is the main factor of poverty elevation, right?
Yes.
So this thing is fine. Now, okay. Now when we talk about social infrastructure, social infrastructure simply means health and education facility. Okay. Because, so you have to see when you read GS paper 2 polity, even in the constitution they mention first social and economic. Social words come before economic, right? So social is more important than economic. So social infrastructure simply means, let's say government of India is trying to make a robust social infrastructure. It means bringing in more health and educational facilities. Okay. Now, any idea how much government of India is spending on health and education?
Sir, as far as I remember, sir, I think 6% is the rate.
6% of what?
The GDP.
Okay, see, generally there are two ways you measure the expenditure. Let's say the way economic survey is quote. They say percentage of total expenditure in this particular year, right? Percentage of total expenditure in this particular year, or percentage of GDP. So generally you will quote one of these two things. When you say, expenditure on health or education, most of the time, this is quoted, but in economic survey you will find this as well. So just again, just remembering the number is not important. On health, they want it to take to 2% of GDP. Okay, they want to take it to. It is less than 2% of GDP. Okay. When it comes to percentage of expenditure, it is around 22% of total expenditure on all social sector schemes. Always remember, this is 20% of total expenditure. Let's say India is doing some expenditure. Where the, you remember, okay, we can, you have gone through budgets and all those things. So you know how much is expended on interest payment and all those things. Okay, that idea you have. So now try to imagine 22% of total expenditure is going on social infrastructure, and it is mainly through central sector schemes. Okay, central sector scheme. ये जो आपके मनरेगा हैं, right? अमृत, ये जो आत्मनिर्भर भारत, right? ये जो central sector schemes हैं. So this expenditure has been more than your expenditure on the defense, interest payments. So यानी 17-18% हो गया है approximately. But you have to understand this is even more than the finance commission, layouts. Fine. And this includes both health, education, and other things. GDP पे यानी in health we are targeting this thing. Okay. But these are just facts. इस तरह का ना ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग आपके, लेट्स से दिस इज अ माइंड, यू आर गोइंग इन मेंस, तो ये चीज़ आपके यहाँ पे होनी चाहिए. व्हाट यू विल राइट इन मेंस कॉपी वो ये चीज़ नहीं है. ये तो वो एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं तो पता ही होगा. इन मेंस कॉपी यू हैव टू राइट द वे पॉलिसी मेकर विल राइट. जैसे पॉलिसी मेकर कौन सर्वे की राइटिंग है ना, तो वो चीज़ आपको लिखना है. सो अज्यूमिंग दैट यू नो दिस थिंग बेसिक्स, नाउ राइट ए पैराग्राफ विच यू विल which just copy it down and try to put in your mains copy. Please write down. Yes, it's a paragraph which you have to write. Social infrastructure, huh? सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फर्स्ट डाल लीजिए हेल्थ. ओके, फर्स्ट इज हेल्थ. यू नो इन हेल्थ वी हैव नेशनल हेल्थ पॉलिसी 2017. सो दिस इज वन पैराग्राफ विच यू आर गोइंग टू विच यू विल नोट इन योर कॉपी एंड रिवाइज इट. द गोल ऑफ नेशनल हेल्थ पॉलिसी इज NHP, National Health Policy 2017 is to envisage is the attainment of highest possible level of health, possible level of health and well-being for all at all ages through a preventive and promotive healthcare orientation in all development policies and universal access to good quality health care without anyone having to face financial hardship as a consequence. Full stop. This would be achieved through increasing access, improving quality and lowering the cost of healthcare delivery. Okay. See, why narrated this. I think you might have written 70 words, around 70-80 words, right?
Yes, sir.
How many words we said? 10 lakh words. Okay, divide 10 lakh by 70. 70 by 10 lakhs. That much your success chances has increased towards 110 marks. This, this if you, not today but some other day realize, this is you have to familiarize your mind to this kind of writing. This is the, policy making writing. Now it might look like, see what is happening. You are using the words like, attainment highest possible level of health, right? Universal access. So these kind of, when you will keep on writing this kind of word, it will become a part of your memory.
Yes.
That will get imbibed in your writing style. And the examiner in the first line will. So you got it?
Yes.
Just keep on adding the numerator. Keep on adding the numerator till it will happen naturally. Okay? So now this is fine, right? Let's say you talk about the SDG 3. What is SDG 3? Good health and well-being. Okay? India ka jo progress hai SDG 3, right? So now let's say you in your notes you have written something about SDG 3. This paragraph is there. You will merge this to so attainment to highest possible health without without having financial burden. So these words they will look for. They will not look for how much GDP. वो तो प्री का वाला काम है. वो तो पता ही है. This writing style. I will focus on this. Fine.
Yes.
Okay. Now write down this paragraph. Just write it down somewhere. You can use it as an intro as well. Okay. See, when you write, कुछ intro करके ready रख के रखना है.
Yes.
कुछ intro ready हो और उसको वहाँ पे जाके fit करना है, right? So what paragraph you are going to write, you can use it as a intro as well. The socio-economic ethos of India resides in diverse and expansive and expanding, right? Expansive populace transcending innumerable cultures, languages and geographies, constituting the real wealth of the country. Okay, see, just try to read this line again. The socio-economic ethos of India reside in the diverse and expansive populace transcending innumerable culture, languages and geography, constituting the real wealth of this country. So this kind of line you can start with essay.
Yes.
Okay, you can put in your GS3 किसमें essay उसमें right.
Yes.
See, when you write intro for a mains answer, कुछ लोग तो start करते हैं, okay, कोई quote मार दिया. No, quote तो नहीं. It has to come, naturally. Some simple statement in a very refined language. Refined language का मतलब वो नहीं, flowery language नहीं.
Yes.
Something, which is based on lots of reading. Okay. So that's why I keep on saying 10 lakh word. So this will come. So whenever you're trying to write an intro or body of a mains answer, do not take your mind into facts. No. Just always keep on reminding the way NCRTs are written, the way economic surveys are written. That kind of language you are going to write. Fine. Next, yes, realizing the immense potential.
So next.
Realizing the immense potential harbored by the young and aspirational citizens.
So realizing the match potential.
Harbored by the young and aspirational citizens, spanning numerous cities and villages,
So expanding.
spanning aspirational citizens, spanning SPANNING, spanning numerous cities and villages, requires ambitious vision and meticulous implementation, comma, customizing for the diversity of circumstances and special needs of different sections.
So special needs of the
Different sections. Okay. Full stop. The foundational services and structures. Now this is important. Let's say you are talking about the social structure. Try to write like this. The foundational services and structures. See ये जो words है ना foundational ये सब यानी see आप इस बात को समझो वहाँ पे 3,500 वर्ड्स ही लिखने हैं इसे यानी तो मैक्सिमम है उसी में मैजिक क्रिएट करना है और प्रोफेसर का जो एग्जामिनर्स का माइंड सेट है वो एक लाइन में देख के बता देगा कि नहीं लैंग्वेज बहुत ही नॉइज है नॉइज समझते हो ना इन द लैंग्वेज इज वेरी नॉइजी और मे बी इट्स टू मच फुल ऑफ फैक्ट्स वो नहीं आ पाएगा वो व्हेन इट इज इजी फ्लोइंग not based on facts, like an policy writing, easily वो professor ना 5 minutes में copy check करके निकल जाएगा. Okay, so always keep on reminding yourself this thing. The foundational services and structures that support society. The foundational services and structures that support society in availing various amenities important for a better quality of life, that is the social infrastructure. Okay, just hold on. So you have written a line, the foundational services, right?
yes.
And a structure that supports society in availing various amenities important for a
better quality of life.
just whenever you just tell yourself, just make this a point. Whenever you have to write about social infrastructure, you will write this line. Okay, how you will define social infrastructure? ये धीरे धीरे क्या ना आपके अपने वर्ड्स में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. डू नॉट थिंक कि इसको रटने का जरूरत नहीं है. ये नेचुरली वो हार्डवर्क करते करते अपना इम्बाइब हो जाएगा. बट यू विल कीप ऑन रिमाइंडिंग योर सेल्फ कि whenever I have to talk about the social infrastructure, I will say foundational services and structure that support society in achieving quality of life. Okay. See, one more thing. 17 SDGs are there. Okay.
Yes.
And while by mixing those 17 SDGs, you can write almost 15% of 3,500 words, 15 to 20%. Okay, see it happened. Say I'm just trying to draw a big canvas. वो 3,500 जो words हैं, उसमें से क्या आएगा? उसमें से जो SDG report है, वहीं से 15% statement तो वहीं से आ जाएंगे. और it is immaterial कि आप 2020 का मेंस लिख रहे हो, 2000 कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. यूपीएससी में क्या है ना, वो पेपर क्या है मैटर ही नहीं करता. आपके 2 पेज रेडी है, आपका एजुकेशन हेल्थ इस पे इकोनॉमी 2 पेज रेडी है. आपको पता है कि यदि मेरे पे मान लीजिए पीडीएस या फूड प्रोसेस पे कोई भी क्वेश्चन आएगा, आई विल राइट एन एसे. ऑलवेज ट्राई टू प्रिपेयर योरसेल्फ फॉर राइटिंग एन एसे. लेट्स से जितने भी इकोनॉमी के जितने भी टॉपिक्स हैं उस पे ऐसे लिखो. पीडीएस पे डू नॉट प्रैक्टिस 250 वर्ड्स आंसर, नो प्रैक्टिस 1000 वर्ड. ऐसे होता है ना 1000 वर्ड का. फूड प्रोसेसिंग पे ऐसे लिखो, तो देन यू विल ऑटोमेटिकली राइट 2500 वर्ड्स. प्रैक्टिस जो प्रीवियस ईयर ऐसे क्वेश्चंस है उसमें राइट. सो जो स्टेटमेंट्स है उस स्टेटमेंट को रख लो, जो ऐसे के जो स्टेटमेंट है ना उसको नोट्स में डालो, वो आपकी पार्ट बन जाएगा. देन ऑटोमेटिकली यू विल पुट द स्टेटमेंट्स इन योर आंसर राइटिंग. गॉट इट? सी आई एम नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन फैक्ट्स. ये चीज़ है, ये चीज़ ले जाएंगी 90 से 110 तक. ठीक है. बाकी ये बोलना कि इकॉनमी में जीडीपी इतना है, ये तो कोई भी कर सकता है. नो, फाइन. सो दैट इज द सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, comma, okay, indirectly contributes to economic development by laying the foundation of income and employment opportunities. Comma, productivity growth and technological development. Fine. Now, this is fine. What I will do? एक दो फैक्ट लिख सकते हो. यानी just let's say you have to write the trends in social service sector expenditure. We are talking about the trends in total, trends in social service sector expenditure, social service sector expenditure. Okay, so see, first write expenditure on social service as a percentage of, पहला क्या है, as a percentage expenditure on social service as a percentage of total expenditure. ठीक है, इस तरह आपको keywords पे लिखना है. Okay, just जब see whenever you make a notes, see that is the quality of notes when nobody can understand your notes. तो उस तरह बनाना है अपने यानी that should be your acronyms or something. So so what is this trend? It is approximately 25 to 27%. Okay, more or less. Okay, so वो see आपको कोई hard and fast figure याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. You must know this thing, that expenditure on social service is approximately, so you can say almost 1 quarter. Let's say you are writing a statement in an essay. You can say all India is almost expending 1 quarter of total expenditure on social services. Yet, let's see how you can connect this statement. Yet, as per the multidimensional poverty report of 2023, highest number of poor children live in India. Now you can read this statement, right? Then one statement, when you read that report, highest number of poor children are in India. Okay, and that is a scandal. And yet we are spending 1/4 on social infrastructure. Fine. Now second thing, expenditure on social services as a percent of GDP. That is approximately 8 to 9%. Okay, percentage of GDP. Fine. और कितना एक्सपेंडिचर है ये भी लिख लो. सपोज टोटल एक्सपेंडिचर इज हैपनिंग 80 लाख करोड़. टोटल एक्सपेंडिचर इज 80 लाख करोड़. आउट ऑफ दैट एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन सोशल सर्विस बताइए दो 25% है ना. तो उसको हार्ड एंड फास्ट याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. यू विल से अराउंड 20 लाख करोड़. राइट. सो you got the point. डेटा को किस तरह यूज करना है. Do not push your mind to remember that person. No. Just let it be easy. You will just remember the ranges. Okay, this thing इतना होता है, right? That thing. Okay. Now one more thing. Any idea इंडिया का SDI रैंकिंग कितना चल रहा है? फैक्ट से ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट है. इट इज लो रैंक ओनली, राइट? हाँ ठीक है. इट इज अराउंड 130. बट आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू. हाँ यस, जस्ट रिमेंबर द रैंक. डू नॉट सी 131 है वो नहीं याद रखना है. वो यू हैव टू टेल ओके इट इज एट द बॉटम. 130 के आसपास. ओके. लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी एट बर्थ कितना है? 67 के आसपास, राइट? यू विल से ओके इंडिया में जो लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी है अराउंड 68, 67, right? This is the way you have to remember. Okay. Expected year of schooling 12 years. Okay. यानी इतना जो आप इस तरह सोचो, कोई बच्चा जन्म लेता है तो उसको 12 साल तक यानी एक्सपेक्टेड है कि एटलीस्ट 12th करेगा. So feel how lucky are those people who have come to prepare for UPSC. They must tell themselves, right? We are above average, right? Then your Gross national income per capita 6,600. Okay, so ये थोड़ा ये नहीं, see these are just numbers, but ये idea होना चाहिए. Okay, चलिए. Now multidimensional poverty index, they talk about the multidimensional poverty index. Okay, if you remember in one lecture I discussed multidimensional poverty index. What is the difference between multidimensional poverty index and poverty? You know, monetary poverty. Monetary poverty. Let's say monetary poverty का आपका एक story है. यानी this story you can narrate from the GS to GS3, किसी point से narrate कर सकते हो. Let's say after independence, India's first challenge was to, development of the country and provide the dignity to the individual. Okay, you read that book by Dr. Subhash Kashyap, Our Constitution. Okay, now say he's a big he has invested his life in reading so many books, and he's a professor, he's a jurist. In one of his chapters, he has written the first article of Indian Constitution is the dignity of individual. See, now is the first what is the first article?
Yes, sir.
That is different.
Yes, sir.
But what he is saying, the first article of the Indian Constitution is the dignity of individual. See, now this is the statement he is trying to make. कहता है वो जो लिखा उसको भूल जाओ, right? Union, what is union? Center, forget all that. He said when after spending his life in so many books, the first article of the Indian Constitution is the dignity of individual. So that kind of thought, that kind of force should come, when you write in essays or when you put intro, right? So उस तरह का force आना चाहिए. फिर जो लिखा है उसी को उसने गलत कर दिया. Okay. So monetary poverty एक तो है कि आपको ये नहीं मालूम होना चाहिए कौन कौन सी monetary poverty lines हैं. जैसे अलाग कमेटी हो गया, right? तेंदुलकर कमेटी, फिर रंगराजन कमेटी, right? Then okay, these committee, but इनमें main difference क्या है? पहले they were mainly limited to calorific value. Okay, initially alag committee, how much food they will eat. Now Tendulkar committee and all those moved into consumption as well, right? Tendulkar committee, okay, I just narrate a fact. Professor Tendulkar, when you say, the way he has put rigor and thought in that, my understanding is that world में ऐसी report नहीं बनी है. Forget India, right? वर्ल्ड में यानी इवन IMF और UNDP वगैरह में ना उस लेवल का क्वालिटी वर्क रेयरली, ऐसा नहीं बोला लो नहीं किया है, बट इतना क्वालिटी, इतना हाई रिगर का वर्क रेयरली होता है. यानी इफ यू ट्रेस द हिस्ट्री ऑफ ऑलमोस्ट 50-60 ईयर्स, जो इंडिया का जो पॉवर्टी एस्टिमेशन है बाई प्रोफेसर तेंदुलकर, इट्स अ वेरी हाई क्वालिटी वर्क. फॉरगेट इंडिया, साउथ एशियन, इट्स अ वर्ल्ड स्टैंडर्ड वर्क, इतना उन्होंने क्या, बट अगेन ही वाज क्रिटिसाइज्ड कि फॉर पुटिंग इट सोलो. सी पब्लिक और उसको ना कनेक्ट करना बहुत डिफरेंस होता है. व्हेन समबडी है उसने इतना सब कुछ पढ़ के उन्होंने वो नंबर लाइन दिया है, पब्लिक कहेंगे अरे ही गेव सम नंबर, आई डू नॉट रिमेंबर द नंबर के रूरल में इतना होना चाहिए, वट एवर नंबर इज, राइट? सी यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ दे एस्टिमेट, दे टेक डेटा, राइट? दे पुट स्टैटिस्टिकल एनालिसिस, दे इंक्लूड व्हाट विद द GDP ग्रोथ एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. तो कोई ये बोल सकता है इतना तो हम ये सब करे बिना, लेकिन ठीक है, बट दे हैव गॉन, दे पुट ऑल दैट थॉट इनटू दैट. ओके, सो दिस इज वन थिंग. नाउ वो ठीक है, यानी कमिटीज वगैरह के नेम ठीक है. देन योर केम मल्टी डायमेंशनल पॉवर्टी इंडेक्स. ओके, दिस मेनली केम थ्रू UNDP and Oxford Institute. Okay, OPHI. What they said, no, monetary poverty in multi-dimension means there are many dimensions. Okay, so they talked about mainly 3 dimensions: health, education, and standard of living. In health they were again 2. In education, health में nutrition level था, okay, and I think maternal child और maternal कुछ है, okay. यहाँ पे year of schooling था, quality of education, और यहाँ पे standard of living में आपके 6 वो थे, right? Housing, sanitation, okay, and they gave 1/3 weight to each. Okay. इतना आपको पता होना चाहिए. Let's say you can put this diagram here. Let's say you are writing mains answer. Somewhere you can put this content. Okay, multi-dimensional poverty index, health, education, 1/3. इतना टाइम नहीं मिलेगा सारे डायमेंशन लिखने के, बट दिस थिंग यू कैन पुट. नाउ द अभी इंडिया का जो रिपोर्ट आया है नीति वाला, मल्टी डायमेंशनल पॉवर्टी इंडेक्स 2023, प्रोग्रेसिव एनालिसिस, दे हैव एडेड 2 more dimensions. Here they have added one. Here they have added I think एक डायमेंशन है, एक तो बैंक कनेक्शन है, बैंक वाला. लेट मी सी.
Access to banking.
हाँ, एक्सेस टू बैंकिंग. जस्ट अ मिनट. मल्टी डायमेंशन पॉइंट, आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू नो, although it is a fact, but just a minute. You know, all the 10 indicators are there, but they have added 2 more indicators to suit the Indian need. And what are those 2 indicators? Just give me, I've forgotten what are those 2 indicators. हाँ, ये है. इसमें तो बैंक अकाउंट है. Okay, here they have added bank account as well. Okay, and in your health they have added maternal health and child mortality. So nutrition reveal हो गया, maternal health हो गया, and child mortality. Okay, child mortality. Remember? So India में क्या additional है? Maternal health and banking account. Why they have these? Because these 2 parameters are important as per the India's need. Okay, so somewhere this thing is fine. But again, this is again a fact. This is again a fact, right? Just telling you know ये parameters है, ये है. इससे एग्जाम में बहुत कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. For this you will, they are not going to give you 110 marks. But if you tell something, let's say we are discussing social infrastructure. In social infrastructure, we talked about the poverty, right? In poverty, let's say, now in the last class, I discussed, when you read this report, they talk about deprivation profile. Deprivation profile. What it means, deprivation profile? Let's say Indian continent is there, subcontinent or South Asia. Here people might be deprived in, let's say, in nutrition level. Okay, in the national, in India, children are generally considered malnourished, right? So in Indian, nutrition might be a big deprivation. Your housing might be a big problem. Okay, your health may, let's say, your child mortality, right? That might be a big problem. But maybe for the African continent, the problem might be sanitation, clean water. Okay, so just remember this thing. Such point will give you good marks. When you will say, after analyzing the deprivation profile of different areas, we will do the intervention as per the needs of that continent. That shows the understanding. Okay, after reading report, you have understood. Let's say African country is now deprived in nutrition, and people are there providing food. Is there any meaning of that? No. India needs nutrition, housing. So now for this you do not need to remember, what is the deprivation profile. Forget even that. This concept is more important, that we have policy makers has to do intervention as per the deprivation profile. How many words? Only 10 words. Immediately, some extra marks will come in copy. Okay, got it? So I hope you will, use this point somewhere. Fine. Now, just a minute. Okay. Okay, just please write down, some, it's a kind of fact. The finding of the report, multi-dimensional poverty index, 2022. Okay, I'm talking about as per 2022. The finding of the report suggests that in India, 41.5 crore people exited poverty, exited poverty between 2005, 6 and 2019-20. Okay? Fine? Demonstrating that the SDG target 1.2, within SDG goal there are some targets, there are 17 goals, but in every goal there is a target. So there is one target, SDG 1.2. Okay, it talks about the halving the, just reducing by half the proportion of people, women and children living in poverty. So write down, demonstrating that the SDG target 1.2 of reducing by reducing at least by half the proportion of men, women and children of all ages living in poverty in all its dimensions according to national definitions by 2030 is possible to achieve. Now here is the crux, is possible to achieve. See, just focus on the word according to national definition. Okay, now see, this is important. Now let's say SDG, it's come from international agreement, right? Everybody, multilateral bodies, they came together and they had this agreement. Okay, we have to reduce poverty, we have to come together. World should not, And not only this, there is a long story. See, when you talk about poverty in your spare time, right? Aspirant, I would suggest aspirant to do this thing. Poverty alleviation. Do at least this, poverty alleviation, where you have to invest time. World Bank report to hai, right? That is the most important, right? What are the two goals of World Bank? World Bank has two most important goals. What are the two aims of World Bank?
I think first is stabilization of the currency.
That is all IMF thing. World Bank is mainly, see, UPSC even asked this question, what is the difference between World Bank and IMF goal? IMF has gone mainly into this, macroeconomic finance and all those things, World Economic Outlook. World Bank has mainly come into poverty alleviation. So World Bank's two main important goals are, one is reducing poverty, abject poverty in all its form by 2030, right? And second goal is shared prosperity. See, whenever you will write shared prosperity means prosperity for the people living in the bottom of the pyramid. You understand bottom of the pyramid, right? And this is reducing poverty, abject poverty by 2030. So whenever you will talk about World Bank, you will always think about these two goals. Okay, World Bank report, UNDP and UNDP or SDG report तो है ही जो progress है. Okay, then invest time in JPOL. Okay, if you have to quote something, this is a poverty alleviation lab. Okay, invest time in this. Just go to the website, try to get some. Okay, then invest time in Professor Angus Deaton's work. Angus Deaton, he has done, lots of work on India's poverty alleviation. Okay, he made a remark that, poverty of, alleviation of poverty nowadays means correct measurement of poverty. यानी किस तरह मेजर करें. Fine. Then invest time in poor economics. There is a book, Poor Economics. Yes, Abhijit Banerjee, a third flow. ओके इसमें आप टाइम इन्वेस्ट करोगे. So this will give you content, even through Lukmaan IAS, channel and notes, I'll keep on providing this thing. But when you invest time in this quality content, आप देखोगे नहीं तो marks will automatically increase. Fine. So I'm expecting aspirant to, somewhere. Poor economics, almost I think 15-20 years old book, but no problem. The content is very relevant. Yes. And this is a book which stands at the intersection of policy making and research. See, what the administrator do, they go into policy making. Research is done by, professor. So they come together at one time, yes. Right? That's how the society can empowered. When policy making and research has to come together. See, research will get insight. कि okay, जैसे मान लीजिए एक वो है, let's say there is a link between clean water facility and reducing, improving sanitation facility. इन दोनों में लिंक है. This understanding will come through research. And when you make the policy, okay, this is the public fund, how it should be expanded. Then you have to channelize the fund in such a way through policy making, so that both sanitation and clean water facilities are connected. Got the point? This is important. Fine. So poverty alleviation, I'm expecting, has to be done this thing. See, at present I cannot go into all the detail. During the course of during the course I will pick up point by point. But I'm expecting aspirant to do this thing. Fine. Now, there is one more thing. Just a minute. Now, then the economic survey talks about human development. Okay, this is in the chapter. See, when you're talking about the social infrastructure, human development has to come. Now, again, what my idea is here, let's say on human development, how many words you will write? Just imagine your four GS paper and essays, or maybe let's say, give a big picture, maybe you have to write 200 to maybe 200 words, including all PYQs or essays. कुछ इस तरह का thought 200 words से कहीं ना कहीं flow होगा around human development. What those words you can write. So what I will do, I will give the definition, 1 or 2 diagram, some statement, उनको note में डालो और उनको कहीं ना कहीं वहाँ पे fix करके कोशिश करना आना है. ठीक है? Okay. Just a minute. Try to make this diagram. Okay, this diagram is from one of the SDR report. Let's say, but you have to practice this diagram. Let's say you make this diagram in your mains copy somewhere. My understanding is 99% the chances is that the person, examiner who is going to check your any aspirant's copy, he must have seen this diagram because he has gone through many policy reports. Immediately his eye will catch up. Okay, so try to write this. Human development, and once you make the diagram, your definition is also complete, right? This is directly enhancing human capabilities, enhancing human capabilities. Okay. And there are 3 things. आप इस तरह बनाओ, यानी इसको ऐसे करना, इसको 2 सर्किल बना देना, ठीक है? ये डायरेक्टली, ये इनडायरेक्टली enhancing human capabilities. Okay? One is directly, another is indirectly. और डायरेक्टली में क्या क्या है आपका? Okay. So, यानी इसको 3 चीजें हैं, इसी तरह You have to practice there, so that you can draw it in, let's say, 2 minutes only. 2 minutes भी ज़्यादा हो गया. ये हो गया ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट हो गया. डायरेक्टली एनहांसिंग ह्यूमन कैपेसिटी. इसको थोड़ा सा छोटा लिखना है, ओके. देन यू हैव टू फिल. दिस इज नॉलेज. दिस इज हेल्थ. ओके. Third is decent standard of living. Decent standard of living as well. Okay, this is shortcut quality health. Now, see, you do not have to remember this like this. Let's say you remember SDG 3, good health and well-being. You can put good health and well-being here as well. Okay, no need to remember this word. But this impression should be in your mind. Okay, human development, directly influencing human capabilities. See, whenever you talk about human development, you are talking about the human capabilities. Okay, then health, knowledge, decent. Third, नीचे वाले में लिखिए. Decent standard of living. Okay, decent standard of living. Okay. Here, participation in community life. Participation in community, in political and community life. आपको इस तरह लिख के आना है वहाँ पे, राइट? मैं तो यहाँ पे लिख. ओके. देन this is promoting equality and social justice. Equality and social justice. Third, environmental sustainability. Environmental sustainability. Fine. Last is human security, human rights. फाइन. सी, कुछ नहीं है इसमें, ऐसा कुछ स्पेशल नहीं है. यू रिमेंबर दैट पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी बुक इज देयर, राइट? एनसीईआरटी पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी, दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इवन फॉर आपका इकोनॉमी के लिए भी. यू कैन कनेक्ट दैट आइडिया. सो उसके जो चैप्टर्स के जो नेम है, सोशल जस्टिस एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, राइट? ऑल दोस थिंग्स यू आर पुटिंग हियर. गॉट इट? सो आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग somewhere you will put this diagram. Practice it. Now second thing, write down few statements on this is now one important, let's say you have to enhance human development. Okay, the one important aspect is quality of work, right? Without work, without livelihood, it will happen. Even your SDGs, what your SDG 8 talks about? No, SDG 8. SDG 8 is about promotion, quality work, right? I do not remember the exact word statement, but let me just see. Decent work and economic growth. SDG 8 talks about the decent work and economic growth. The work has to be decent, okay? Because till the work is not decent, how the human development will happen, right? So in human development, see, you saw the standard of living, decent standard of living. How the decent standard of living will come? Only through work, right? So please write down few statements which you are going to write there. Human development is about enlarging human choices, focusing on the richness of human lives, rather than simply the richness of economies. Got it? The richness of human life. See, इसमें तो keyword क्या है? Enlarging the human capabilities. Whenever we talk about the human development, it's about enlarging human choices, capabilities. So whenever you are at, see, this is the important dimension. If you are writing about human dimension, but enlarging choices, enhancing capabilities is not coming. तो कुछ ना कुछ problem है definition में. Even when you open the NCERT, right, they talked about the choices and capabilities. So try to write this definition. Human development is about enlarging human choices, focusing on the richness of human lives rather than richness of economies. Richness of human lives rather than economies. Okay. See, this is important. Let's say growth is happening and poverty is not reducing. It indirectly means the inequality is happening, right? If you remember, there was a chapter in 2017 or 18 economic survey. They talked about whether inequality and growth has a convergence or divergence in Indian scenario. What indirectly trying to say here? See, what happens in many countries. Let's say in US inequality is rising. Okay. Inequality is rising, inequality is a big problem. In fact, this year's SDR report is on inequality only. So inequality is a big problem. So let's say we are measuring, somebody is measuring poverty. So you measure it whether you are talking about the absolute poverty or relative poverty. Okay. Absolute poverty means the people who are living, bottom of the pyramid. They are not able to meet both ends. So it is very, very important to elevate that poverty, and that is why SDG 1 is there. No poverty. Okay, that is very important. But there is another concept of relative poverty. Relative poverty means people are well-to-do, but still compared to let's say in there is let's say maybe a poor in Sweden and Scandinavian country might not be as as worse as in Indian people, right? Indian poor. So there comes a concept of relative poverty as well. So in developed economies, this concept is more important. Okay, but in developing countries like India, this concept is more important. Okay, so and what the economic survey says, let's say inequality is rising, growth is happening, inequality is rising, but even then your poverty is reducing. Got it? See, inequality is rising, but in Indian context, it is not a big problem at present because India is in that growth trajectory. Although inequality, let's say, why the inequality will rise? Let's say this condition is there. First, let's say there were 4 people. Their condition was like this: 10, 7, 8. Okay. Just a minute. Let me take this number. 7, 9. Here, what has happened? It has become 10. It has become let's say 8. Okay, this has become 200. This has become 200. And let me call it, this has become 100. Now tell me, imagine this situation. This is situation 1 in a country. There are 4 people, their income is this. So here 10 rupees, 10 rupees, 10 rupees, 7 rupees. So there is almost, not everyone equal, but you can see the equality there, right? Or more or less, not very. What about this situation? Here everyone has improved. He has gone from 9 to 100. This has also improved, 1 rupee. But how he or she will feel? Relatively poor, right? Because see now just to say that, see, your condition is improved. No, that will not work. You say, yes, my condition is improved, but see, my relative condition. So when you increase the share of the pie, let's see what has happened from this situation to this, share of the pie has increased.
Yes.
Everyone has grown. So more or less this thing is happening in India. So what is happening, the bottom of the pyramid is also, their situation is improving. But again, this is kind of a trade-off. India can't do anything about it. When the India will move into a higher growth trajectory, that time your relative measurement of poverty will become more important. So in this scenario, India has to live with inequality. Okay. It is not that, somebody is imposing, doing some, bringing, no, it is, it is a natural process. Let's say when the day is there, night is not there, right? Right? So it is a trade-off, right?
Yes.
So cannot do anything. This is a growth trajectory, right? Let's say, 4 transition stages of population growth. First, high, what happens in the first stage? There is high mortality as well as high population growth.
Yes.
Okay, then the population mortality will reduce, but the population growth will still remain high. So these are just stages. The same way it is happening in India. Okay, so this is a concept. Now this is not a fact. If you put this concept somewhere, in your answer sheet, means, definitely some fear. So what you will say? In the Indian context, absolute poverty, reduction of absolute poverty is more important, right? And rising inequality is also reducing poverty. Okay, there is a convergence between inequality and growth. Convergence, right? Now, this condition is called Pareto optimality. This is called, Pareto optimality. See what is happening. If somebody has to choose, any rational person will choose this condition over this condition, right? Let's say even I am this person, so I will say, okay, chalo yahan 7 ki jagah 8 to mil raha hai. But again, Pareto optimality does not mean social justice. This is optimal, this is optimal, the rationality is fine, but this does not mean social justice. So you try to bring this point somewhere in a mains copy. See, when you remember in 2016-17, there was a question, John Rawls' theory of justice, right? Theory of justice question. So they asked a question on what do you understand by social justice theory, right? So this concept, the philosophers like Jeremy Bentham, they talked about the concept of utilitarianism. Okay.
Yes.
According to utilitarianism, more or less, not very sure, but they prefer this thing. They seek Pareto optimality. But John Rawls came with the social justice concept. He said, no, we cannot, we cannot take it as optimum. We have to look for the social justice, right? What about the justice of this person? What about the person at the bottom of the pyramid? And it is very related to Gandhi's Antyodaya. So when you see now, we were talking about the poverty, social infrastructure, poverty. So we have related philosophy with that, economics with that, GS2 with that, right? And multidimensional poverty. This is the force you have to put in your mains copy, right? This is the force. If you put this force, definitely. Okay? Now, just write down one more line. Of the world's 7.3 billion people, same human development for work we are talking about, of the world's 7.3 billion people, 3.2 are in jobs and others engage in care work. So now you can see, less than 50% people are in job, right?
Yes.
So there is a dependency ratio.
Yes.
Children and elders, they are always dependent. Okay? Are in jobs and others engage in care work, creative work, or other, or voluntary work. Okay? Okay. Please write down. Try to write this line somewhere in your copy. People are the real wealth. People are the real wealth of nations. And human development focuses on enlarging people's choice.
And
Human development focuses on enlarging people's choices. See, very simple line. Can you see? इसमें कोई यानी कोई फैक्ट नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, बट दिस इज द लाइन, आपके जो 3500 वर्ड्स है ना, उसमें ऑलमोस्ट 60-70% इस तरह कंटेंट जाना चाहिए. ओके, इसी तरह का बिल्कुल सिंपल फ्लोइंग No facts, nothing, what happened. Like the policy statements are written. Okay. Then write down. Just a minute. Yes, write this. The work can enhance human development when policies expand productive,
So when policies
expand, EXPAND, expand productive, comma, remunerative and satisfying work opportunities, comma, enhance workers' skills and potential and potential and ensure their rights, comma, safety and well-being. ठीक है? Now, write this line somewhere. Work unleashes human potential. Work unleashes human potential, human creativity, and human spirit.
human potential, human creativity.
And human spirit. Can you see in one line they have repeated human 3 times, but this is not repetition. This is the way, this is the way, see, this is the level of thought. The one who has written work enhances human potential, human creativity, human spirit. तीनों चीजें human से करेंगे. So this kind of statement, okay, I hope somewhere you will write this thing. Write down one more line. Human development is development for the people. Through building human capabilities. Through building human capabilities, comma, for the people, by the people, for the people by improving their lives, and by the people through active participation in the processes that shape their lives. Okay, just focus on the the democracy definition, for the people, by the. See the way they've connected, same idea. So what is happening? Human development principle building human capabilities. Capabilities and choices will always come in your definition. Then for the people by improving their lives. For the people, what you are doing? You are improving their life, and by through the active participation in the process. Okay. Then next line in the same.
In the same line.
Yes, correcting line. Full stop. It is broader than other approaches such as human resource approach.
So it is broader.
It is broader than other approaches such as human resource approach, comma, the basic needs approach, and the human welfare approach. Okay, human development, see, human development जो approach है, that is, it's a big envelope. Okay, human resource approach, basic needs approach, human welfare approach, they are the part of it. Got it?
Yes.
So this is the way you are going to connect somewhere. ठीक है, just write down. Write down this line somewhere. Work. See, now there was a report. Let's say employment की बात कर रही है. Now we are to connect, trying to, we started with social infrastructure. We talked about healthcare, human development. Within the human development, we are talking about the work, because work will provide you the quality of life. Okay, you can connect the thread. Okay, now at one stage, somewhere your 2-pager on employment should be ready. Okay, employment पे भी एक 2-pager होने देना चाहिए. उसमें कहाँ से आएगा? जैसे मान लीजिए you read some chapter from NCERT on employment. Okay, there are 2 wonderful reports. I would suggest aspirant to invest time in that. Let me, just, in this class I cannot go into that report, but what I can do, just a minute. Just a minute. National Labour Commission. Okay, National Labour Commission report. National Labour. Labor. Okay, just. There 2 reports came by National Labour Commission. Okay, and one of them. Now it is not possible, for me to discuss the report here. But what you can do in your free time, that I can always tell. First National Labour Commission report came in 1966. Okay, it was the chairman was Chief Justice of India, Gajendra Gatkar. Okay, ठीक है, National Commission on Labour, right? And second National Labour Commission came in 2002. So this report is there. National Labour Commission. Okay, National Labour Commission 2002. This report is on available on right. What you can do, devote 1 hour to that report. Go to introduction, right? Read those. Try to pick some paragraphs. Put in your employment का जो 2-pager है उस पे put करो. Okay. For what I can tell you, he has made an important line. What he said. It is balance. There is a need to balance process of liberalization and social security. Balancing need of liberalization and social security. Fine. See why? LPG era came. Yes. Right? Informal economies. People were not having permanent jobs. Right, information. So they realized that people need social security, permanent jobs. So he made a remark. So I have just, it's not possible, in this lecture. Maybe someday we will discuss that. But do this thing. Devote time and write down this line. At least you can mains copy somewhere. Let's say you're talking about labor. This is very, very important report. Okay, so the examiner who will check your copy, he will immediately connect. He will say, okay, you are writing in 2023-24 and you have even the understanding of that report. See, that shows the width of the knowledge, right? The dimension you can cover. So, National Labour Commission, second National Labour Commission, It was second National Labour Commission, 2002. You can say this Labour Commission remarked there is a need of balancing liberalization and social security. Okay, simple. यानी सिंपल चीज़ है लेकिन आपने उसको डिफरेंट वे में प्रेजेंट कर दिया है. Fine. Okay. Now, see, when we will take the basic lecture, उसमें I will tell you that इंडिया में 4 तरह के वो होते हैं. हाई तो इंडिया करेक्ट से एम्प्लॉयमेंट डेटा, एम्प्लॉयमेंट अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट सर्विस होता है, NSSO का होता है, राइट. सो सेंसस होता है वो तो हर डिकेड में होता है. NSSO के सर्विस होते हैं. NSSO मीन्स मॉस्पी वाले, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ स्टैटिस्टिकल एंड प्रोग्राम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. देख NSSO सर्वे कराता है इस पे आपके एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट पे. ओके, दो सर्वेज आर एवरी 5 years. देन देर आर लेबर ब्यूरो का सर्वेज है. लेबर ब्यूरो ऑल्सो कलेक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन. सो यू गॉट इट. हाउ मेनी? देर 4 सोर्सेज. एक तो सेंसस हो गया, देन NSSO हो गया, ये एवरी 5 year, ये एवरी 10 year, देन लेबर ब्यूरो. दिस इज आई थिंक एनुअल सर्वेज होते हैं. ओके, देन ओके इकोनॉमिक सेंसस, एनुअल सर्वे ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज भी होता है. एनुअल सर्वे ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज भी होता है. सर्वे ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज. ओके, सो now you have to understand, you are getting information on employment, unemployment through these surveys. Their periodicity is different. Some is happening after 10 years, some is their methods of collection is different. Questionnaires are different. So how can somebody can get same data? Is it possible? And when you get different data and you do analysis, you get different result. So that's not only in many countries this is a problem. So somewhere this should be in your understanding. No need to write all these things in mains, but this understanding should be there. When you measure employment and unemployment in India, the data itself is, you will say it has various sources. Fine. And you can mention this thing like that. Now, when we talk about the work, one has to talk about the labor force participation rate of urban female, urban and rural female. This is a very, very important. If you are writing mains में ये point नहीं आया तो ये तो आना ही आना है. In fact, economic surveys have also mentioned this thing. What is happening in India? Labor force participation rate is very, very low, and it is even low in urban case compared to rural. Why? Okay, why the labor force participation rate of female is less? First, forget urban and that thing. Why it is less?
Sir, because lack of education opportunities.
Yes, there are many things. Women are not, they lack that, socio-economic capital, knowledge, not getting good opportunity. Then there comes social attitude, negative social attitude. They don't want to send women, right? Then again, let's say lack of opportunities in the rural space. Then there's one more point, which economic survey has raised: the way you measure the work. The way you measure the work, let's say the questionnaire, how they measure the work, they go to, they prepare a questionnaire, they ask the woman. Let's say if the woman is involved in a collection of wood or just a household work, then they are not counted as the employed. Now they have raised a question on this methodology. They are saying, let's say woman is doing some work at home, why you are not counting it work? That is different thing, you are not paying her. But it is a work, right? So that they are questioning that, so you can raise this point somewhere. So what the economic survey raised, that saying that labor force participation rate of urban and rural women is less, that also has to do with the methodology which we measure work. Fine. Now this you have got understood in the context of India. Now see in the context of world what is happening. Just please. Okay. First write down work, work, not just jobs. Contributes to human progress contributes to human progress and enhances human development. See the meaning of this line. Work, not jobs. What India is measuring is job. Right? See, this is a very, very important, one of the best report of this, So what they are saying, no, don't forget jobs. Focus on work. Even World Economic Forum, I think few years back, they came with a report, future of jobs. This was a report, future of jobs. I think 2018-19 में आया था, future of jobs. What was the main crux of that report? People will, find meaning in work rather than jobs. Work में meaning find, jobs में. So if somebody is finding meaning in work, that is more important. So now you understood the problem in what is happening in India.
Yes.
And now you understood second line. Now somewhere you can connect these two ideas. What is the problem in India? The questionnaire is measuring only jobs. And then you can say work, not just jobs, contribute to human progress and enhances human development. And that is how we need to correct this thing.
Yes.
Got it? Okay. The notion of work is broader than and deeper than that of jobs.
Yes.
The notion of work is fine. Now just write down this. See, now, okay. Write down this. As per the SDR report 2015, Human Development Report 2015, okay. The title of the report is Work for Human Development.
So as per the SDR reports?
SDR, Human Development Report 2015. 2015, title of the report is Work for Human Development. Okay. Approximately 52% work. It is their estimation. Okay. So you do not have to remember the number. More than half work, 52% is done by women, and only 48% by men. Now can you see? So see, this is contradiction. Let's say, okay, forget big thing. Just see on road. Let's say a building is being constructed. Who is putting that, putting on hat, doing mixing and looking after the child? Woman only. Man is only just telling, either a contractor, he's telling do this, do that, or maybe, even in offices, even at homes, who cooks food, right? All those things. Mother, right, mother, sister, but we do not count it that in work. So when you count it exactly, so 52% of the work is being done by women. Although they are not, many of them are not engaged in work, engaged in jobs. Yes. They are engaged in work, and 48% by only men. Okay, now see, you understood the Indian context. Now you are watching the world context. Okay? Okay. Second line, you write, the link between work and human development is not automatic. Very, very important line.
The link between
human development is not automatic. Okay. Full stop. The work can enhance human development, but some work damages it. But some work damages it. Hyphen, the link between the two is not automatic. Now this is kind of a paradoxical statement, right? We are saying the link between work and human development is not automatic. If you are giving somebody work, it will happen human development? No. Why? Just can you find? Can you tell where the link is not automatic?
So for example, children's working
Yes,
in the factory.
yeah, wonderful, right? Child labor. If you give a work to child, What is the meaning of that work?
Yes, sir. Right.
That is exploitation. It is not human development. Okay. So, see now, let's say in mains, on human development, on child labor, you have got almost 7, 8, 10 points, right? इस 10 पॉइंट में से आपने 7, 8 भी लिख दिया है. ठीक, प्रोफेसर को सोचने की जरूरत भी नहीं है, ऑटोमेटिकली ना उसको माइंड चला जाएगा कि ओके द एस्पिरेंट एट दिस लेवल एट दैट सॉर्ट लेवल, यानी वो फैक्ट बैक से वो मान करें. देन वन डायग्राम यू हैव गॉट, ट्राई टू मेक दिस मोर दिस वन डायग्राम एज वेल. ओके, सो I need not to explain, you already know why the link is not automatic. Just try to draw this diagram. Child labor, forced labor, traffic worker. This is, this is big one circle. Child labor, forced labor, trafficked worker. Forced labor and trafficked worker. Then, okay, violation of human right, exploitative wages, shattered human dignity, human dignity, okay, loss of freedom and autonomy, and autonomy, right? Then human insecurity. ठीक है, child labor, forced labor, traffic worker. Okay, I have not written for just acronym. So, right? Try to put this diagram somewhere. ठीक है. Now, just one more thing which you must note.
Sir, what is this last one?
Human insecurity, right? Okay, just a minute. Okay, this thing you must write. These two statements, please write. Seizing the future in the digital revolution. Seizing the future in the digital revolution is not chance or fate, hyphen, it is a matter of skill and foresight. See, digital revolution is there, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's there is no choices. One has to be part of that. It has to skill. And see, digital revolution has to be e-governance. E-governance is not only about E, right? It is about governance. Similarly, when you talk about the digital revolution, it is not just about owning computers. No. It is about information, right? Information is more important, and that information empowering, enhancing participation of vulnerable section. That is more important. Okay. Now, just a minute. Okay. Write this line somewhere. Addressing imbalances in paid, unpaid and paid work.
So addressing
imbalances in unpaid and paid work benefits both current and future generations. Okay? Full stop. Social norms need to evolve to reflect the equal potential to reflect the equal potentials of women and men. Full stop. Promoting women to visible positions of seniority. Promoting women to visible positions of seniority, comma, responsibility and decision making. In both public and private spheres, and encouraging the engagement of men in traditionally female dominated professions can help shift deep-seated views. Can help shift deep-seated views. Deep-seated. Okay, views. See, now let's say in Mains copy you have to give an example or something. You have to say that men should take up the women work and women have to be empowered. वही चीज बोल रहा है. Can you? But in this language, that social norms has to evolve, and men has to participate. They must take up the work of which are generally dominated by women, right? So rather than writing men cleaning kitchen वगैरह उस तरह का language use नहीं करना है, right? In language में you have to write in this kind of language. Fine. Now we will say just last line, and then we will end up. Last line you can write down. Sustainable work is a major building block for sustainable development. Building block for sustainable development. Sustainable work is a major building block for sustainable development. Sustainable work leads to sustainable development. Fine. Sustainable work promotes human development. ठीक है. See why this statement is important. In the 2017 or something, there is a question in GS3 economics. Access to clean energy is the sine qua non for achieving sustainable growth. Something like this statement was there, right? Now, sine qua non, this is the first condition, right? It is prerequisite. First you have to have access to renewable energy, then you can achieve economic, sustainable economic growth. Similarly, these kind of statement you have to imbibe in your thought process. Let's say you talk about the SDG 17. You can write a statement like this: gender equity is the very hinge on which the success of SDG 17 holds, rests. Got it? See, let's say you are talking about you want to promote the gender equality. You can make a statement like this. It should come naturally. So your gender equity is SDG 5.
Yes.
You will say gender equity is the very hinge on which the success of all the SDG 17 rest.
Yes.
In fact, if you see SDG 17, twice they have mentioned about inequalities. One is SDG 5, there they talk about the gender inequality, and SDG 10, they talk about the reduced inequalities. तो यहाँ पे reduced inequality countries के बीच में है, यहाँ पे gender यानी empowering, but when you reduce equality between countries, you automatically empower women as well.
Yes.
So understand?
Yes.
So here you are not talking about कि SDG 5 is gender equity. No, वो तो ठीक है, वो level 2 का thought है. Here what you are saying, gender equity is the very hinge on which the success of SDG will rest. इसी तरह सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट इज द मेजर बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक फॉर सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट. जब तक सस्टेनेबल वर्क नहीं होगा, सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट कैसे होगा, ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट कैसे होगा? Got it? So I hope from the aspirant from today's lecture, at least कुछ नहीं तो 60-70 वर्ड्स तो वो अपने मेंस के कॉपी में यहीं से लिख के आएंगे, कहीं तो ऐसे में, कहीं पे, राइट? Just keep on telling yourself, you have to write how many words? 3,500 words. Okay? And remember that equation, 10 lakh word, okay, और ऊपर के नोमीटर में keep on adding, right? ये this is the big picture, remember, and gradually within 25 lectures we will almost complete it. ठीक है? Thank you very much.